Hello everyone, welcome to Power 21 with ClearTex. I am CSOB Punshi, Indirect Tax Expert at ClearTex. And today, in today's session, we are going to discuss on the applicability of GST on the Goods Transport Agency. Along with that, we'll also understand about various provisions related to GST in respect of Goods Transport Agency. So let's begin with our session. So before this, I want to say congratulations to CA Darshan Tolia for ClearTex Champion. Congratulations, CA Darshan Tolia. So now we'll just start our session. So here today, in today's session, we are going to cover all of these points. They are GST on the Goods Transport Agency, who is GTA, what is consignment note, the charge of GST on services provided by GTA, the determination of place of supply for GTA, the person who is liable to pay the taxes, and along with that also some registration and the EVB related provision in relation to GTA. So first question which usually comes into mind, because we are talking about the Goods Transport Agency, but before that, the thing is whenever GTA comes into mind, it means there is a transportation of goods, right? So whether the transportation of good even is liable to tax under GST. So that is one of the important question which we should understand, whether the services in relation to transportation of goods is liable for GST or not. So here there was a notification for particular this thing, which is notification number 12/27, which actually exempt the services in relation to transportation of goods by road. And if we look into that particular clause, so it says services by way of transportation of goods by road, except the services of good transport agency or a courier agency, and by inland waterway. So if you just look into this particular provision, it means any services which is in relation to transportation of goods by road is exempt under GST, except if it is provided by Goods Transport Agency. So if this services is provided by the Goods Transport Agency, then it's taxable, otherwise it's not. So it's really important for all of us to understand what is this Good Transport Agency. So if we talk about this Good Transport Agency, so it has been defined under the GST law. So if we just look into the clause ZD of notification number 12/2017, here it says Good Transport Agency means any person who provides service in relation to transport of goods by road and issues a consignment note by whatever name code. So here it means there is a person who is providing the services in relation to transportation of goods. Plus that person is actually issuing the consignment note. So the important point over here is the consignment note. We should understand what this consignment note is, because if the person is not issuing the consignment note, in that particular case, this person is not even a GTA. And if this person is not a GTA and he's providing the services in relation to transportation of goods, then that services are exempt under GST. So which means for a person to be a GTA, this person should issue a consignment note, and if this person is issuing the consignment note, then there is a question of levy of GST. So now we'll actually understand what this consignment note is, and then maybe we can go towards the other provision. So if we talk about the consignment note, so obviously in GST Act it is nowhere defined it properly, but there was one provision to section number 31 subsection number 2 of CGST Act, where they say the government may on recommendation by the council by notification and subject to such condition as may be mentioned therein, specify the category of services in respect of which any other document issued in relation to supply shall be deemed to be a tax invoice. Which means if that person issues some document, then document can be deemed as a tax invoice. So here the point is, the important point we need to understand is the essence of this consignment note. Because if we just say ki, whether I am issuing a normal document, is it a consignment note? If let's say there is a transporter and it's just a truck driver, and he don't even have this agency and all. He just sometimes takes the good and just deliver it to the third party, whether that particular person become the GTA or not. So for that particular thing, we should understand that the essence of this consignment note, what this consignment note does. So here, the important point we should understand is whenever the person, the transporter, is issuing this consignment note, the main purpose of issuing is that he is taking the responsibility from the supplier to deliver this good to the third person who is the recipient. So here, this person has a responsibility of handling that goods. And if something happened to that particular good, then this transporter is responsible for that goods. So that's the important thing to understand the concept of this consignment note. So here, what that person will usually do, he will issue a note where this person says that you are the supplier, I am going to deliver this goods to this recipient, this is the address of that recipient, and also along with this, we'll also tell what was the quantity which is there, which I'm going to load in the truck, along with the truck number and all. So these are the detail I'm going to issue in a document which will actually refer as a consignment note. So if we just look into it, in fact, law says like this is a note which will be issued by a GTA, and it will be any other in lieu of, and usually it will have this detail like gross weight, the name of the consignor and the consignee, registration number, the goods carriage, detail of goods transported, detail of place and origin and destination, and the GST number of the consignor and the consignee. So in short, if we just understand what we understood till now, we said there is a transportation of goods. There is a services in relation to transportation of goods by road. All the services are exempt except if it is provided by a GTA or it's a courier agency. Now, the important thing is what is this GTA? For that, we understood the definition that what this good transport agency is, and we could find there was two important things. One is in relation to the transportation of goods. Why I am focusing on this word relation? Because in the latter point of in the slides, if we just discuss on this, we'll just understand this relation means it's a wider term. It's not only on the transportation of goods, it has more meaning to it. So we'll understand on that point. And the second point was issue of the consignment note. And because there was no specific definition for it, so we understand from what we could see here, the main purpose of issuing the consignment note was taking a responsibility of delivering this good to the recipient. Because there could be a normal truck. I will like, okay, this is a person. I just said, okay, can you please deliver this good to the third party? And then person, okay, I will do that. But this person is not making any note. He don't care about what good was there, and it's my responsibility if these goods are not even delivered to the third party. So I'm just relying on that person. So here the importance for issuing the consignment note was that this goods will be delivered to the third person, and the responsibility was on the GTA. Now we understand what would this GTA is. So now we'll go to the next point. Is the type of levy of GTA? Who is even liable to pay the taxes when it comes to the services which is provided by this good transport agency? We know if this is the services, this is and is provided by the GTA, this is levy under GST. The taxes needs to be paid. But question is, who is required to pay the taxes on this? Is it a supplier? Is it a recipient? Or is it a GTA himself? Right? So here, there are two ways. Either he can go with a forward charge or he can go with a reverse charge. If we are saying forward charge, which means GTA himself will discharge the liability. He will collect this amount from the supplier, the recipient, so to whom he is providing the services, and then he will pay this to the government. The second case is reverse charge, where instead of this GTA, the other party who is availing the services of the GTA will be required to pay the taxes to the government. That is the other thing. Now, question is about the rate of tax. So it says if it's a forward charge, which means GTA himself is discharging this liability, then the rate of tax over here is 12%, and the GTA can claim the ITC. He can claim the ITC on the input services or the capital goods. But if this services or the taxes on the services is provided under the reverse charge, which means this GTA is not discharging the liability on this, then in that case GTA cannot avail the ITC. And here the tax rate, if we talk about the tax rate on which this other party is going to pay, is 5%. So if we just talk about forward charge, it was 12%, and here in the second case it is 5%. But the other party can actually avail the ITC. So it doesn't mean that this other party cannot avail the ITC. So here the other party can claim the ITC, but this GTA cannot claim the ITC if this liability is paid under the reverse charge. So I think like this is clear now. But now the thing is, what should GTA ideally should opt for? Should he opt for the forward charge or should he opt for the reverse charge? So if we just talk about what are the benefits for paying the taxes on him on his own. When I'm saying on his own, anyhow is not going to pay the taxes from his own pocket. He's going to collect the taxes from the recipient and then going to make the payment to the government. But here are certain benefits. If we talk about benefit, the thing is he can claim the input tax credit. So he can claim the ITC on the input services and the capital goods. And if we talk about the GTA, we know that he has to buy the truck and all. And this motor vehicle, whatever he is purchasing, actually there are a lot of taxes which he is required to even pay, and which is again a capital goods. So, and if we talk about the rate of tax, the rate over here is 28%. And if we talk about the output tax which he has to pay is 12%. So in a way, it's an inverted duty structure, but we know we cannot claim the refund in this case, because in case of the inverted duty structure, we can claim refund only in respect of inputs and not capital goods. So this person cannot claim the refund, but he obviously, when he's discharging the liability, in most of the cases he won't even have the taxes which needs to be paid to the government, because whatever the liability he would have, he can just adjust that with an ITC. So here his working capital will not be blocked, which is a benefit for him, and he can just claim or he can keep on accumulating that particular amount. Second case is where this liability needs to be paid under the reverse charge by the other party. So here if the recipient is going to pay the taxes under the reverse charge, which is at the rate of 5%, in that particular case, this GTA is not allowed to claim the ITC, which means think of a case where he has a motor vehicle which is purchased and it's not even covered under the block credit, which is a 17.5. So his huge amount of the ITC which he could have claimed, he will not be even able to claim that amount. So here that could be one of the things he has to think on. He has to see the pros and cons and decide whether he should pay the taxes under the forward charge or the reverse charge, because under the reverse charge he has some benefit too, because in that case he don't even have to file the returns and all. He don't have to even get the registration under GST. We'll cover all this detail again in the next slides, like whether he is required to get the registration if the person has to, or GT has to pay the taxes under the reverse charge. So we'll understand on all of this part, but for now it is like then. So if we just conclude like what we have understood in this slide, there is the GTA. If he wants to pay the taxes to the government, he can pay under the forward charge at the rate of 12%. If he don't want to pay, then this will be paid under the reverse charge by the recipient at the rate of 5%. But in the second case, GTA cannot claim the ITC, though this recipient can pay the taxes under the reverse charge and also claim the ITC on that particular taxes. Right? Now we'll just go to the, let's say now this person, the GT has opted for the taxes to be paid under the reverse charge. So here this recipient can be registered, this recipient can be unregistered too. So if this person is registered, no problem at all. This person is registered. So in this case, this person, what he will do, he will pay the taxes under the reverse charge at the rate of 5%. This GTA will not claim ITC at all in respect of whatever inputs he has. But this person who is a recipient and he has paid the taxes under the reverse charge to the government at the rate of 5%, he can go ahead and claim the ITC on such transaction. If this GTA has supplied to the unregistered dealer, so in this case we have to first see whether this is supplied to the specified person. We'll understand what is a specified person. It's like factory and all. We'll know what is this. Or he has supplied to the other than this specified person. We have a list of the specified person. So if it is supplied to the other than this specified person, in that case there is no question of reverse charge, and this is also exempted under GST. So that particular thing is exempted, and if he has provided the services to the specified person who are unregistered, in that case again the specified person has to get registered under GST and has to pay the taxes under the reverse charge at the rate of 5%. So if we talk about what was that specified person, so it's any factory which is registered under or governed by the Factories Act, or a society which is registered under Society Registration Act, or a cooperative society, or a body corporate, partnership firm, casual taxable person. So these are the specified person. If this person, the GTA is providing services to this person, even if they are not registered, in that case, and he has opted to pay the taxes under the reverse charge, then this person has to get registered under the GST and pay the taxes under the reverse charge. Now there are certain exemptions which has been given. So if this GTA is providing the services in relation to this transportation of goods, so there are certain exemptions. Certain exemptions are, for example, agriculture produce. So if this person is providing, the GTA is providing the services in relation to the transportation of goods, which is an agriculture produce, then he don't have to pay any taxes, that is exempted. In the same way, if he is providing the services in or he's carrying the goods which is milk, salt, food grain, or we can say organic manure, newspaper, magazine, relief materials, or this military equipment, so all of these are exempted. So if this person is carrying these goods in his truck, in that particular case, this all are exempted. Apart from that, there is another relief, which is if he is carrying the goods where consideration charged for the transportation goods on a consignment in so here again, when I'm saying on a consignment, which means in a vehicle he has carried so many consignments, right? Obviously he would have for so many of his customer. So if in totality that is more than is less than 1500 rupees, or is equal to 1500 rupees, in that case he is not liable to pay the GST. Or if we talk about single consignment, so here this is another exemption which is given to the GTA. So if that's the case, then he's not even liable to pay the GST. Now there is, if let's say the GTA receive the services of the another GTA, then this is also exempted under the GST. And also there are certain exemptions in relation to, or which is incidental to the GTA. So if you remember, when we were looking into the definition of the Goods Transport Agency, they have used the word in relation. And I told you that that's a broader term. It's not only the services services of the transportation of good. It also includes services like packing, unpacking, or maybe you can say loading, unloading. So all of that services are also included in that. So if it is in relation to that part, so unless they have separately charged for that, then the services are also covered here. And some of the services are exempt for it. So if we just look into loading, unloading, packing, storage, or warehousing of rice, that is exempt. And services by way of warehousing of minor forest produce, that is again exempt. If we supply services which is associated with transit cargo to Nepal and Bhutan, that is again exempt. So there are certain services which are exempt whenever this GTA is providing such services. So till now we have understood services in relation to transportation of goods is actually exempt except if it is provided by the GTA. Then when we are talking about the GTA, we said this, the important point for this is he should issue the consignment note. When we are talking about the consignment note, we said that we should look into the way, the reason why this person is issuing that, and also what are the information being provided in that particular note. So it could be any kind of a note. It doesn't mean that what we say that as a need. Right? So here the thing is, if that person says, okay, here is a gross weight, it is a consignment detail, it's a consignee detail, this is about the values of the goods, also it has a vehicle number, every detail, then it's a consignment note. Though even if this person is not even saying it as a consignment note, still it's a consignment note because this person is actually taking the responsibility to carry that goods. Now we understood consignment note, so it means it's a GTA. So if that person is a GTA, then it means he has to pay the GST. If he has to pay the GST, the question comes in who has to pay the GST, whether it's GTA himself or the recipient. So we talked about there are two ways. It's his option, either GTA can pay or maybe the other party can too pay. If GTA wants to pay, he has to pay at the rate of 12% and he can claim the ITC. If the other party is paying, then he has to pay under the reverse charge at the rate of 5%, and the other party can claim ITC, but GTA cannot claim the ITC. Then we also talked about certain exemption which has been given in relation to the services which is provided by the GTA. So that services was in relation if he's transporting, let's say, agriculture produce, in that case is exempted. Loading and loading of the agriculture produce, that is also exempted. Or if you are putting the rice or you are doing the loading and unloading of the rice, that is also exempted. But here another important point is, what about if you have seen, we convert the there are certain items, for example, jaggery, right? So from the jaggery has been prepared from the sugar cane. So if the person is actually taking this jaggery with him, whether that is exempted or not, whether services provided in relation to transportation of the jaggery, whether that is exempted or not. So here we have to use the same thing, whether the jaggery was actually exempted. If it if we talk about in respect of jaggery, whether the same is exempted, and we told, if we go to our exemption section, where we told that is not exempted because it actually loses its essential character. So if that's the case, then this is not exempted, and if that's not exempted, then the services in relation to the transportation of that will also not be exempted. So this is about, we have actually learned about all this. Now question comes in, what about the place of supply? So here we talk about the place of supply of services by way of transportation of goods, including by mail or courier to registered person, then it will be the location of such person, and if it is other than registered person, then the location shall be the place where such goods are handed over for their transportation. We just understand with an example. Let's say I am a person, I am in the state of Karnataka, and there is another person who is a recipient, and he asked me, why don't you take the goods from my warehouse and then transport it to the X person who is, let's say, in the state of Maharashtra. So here, since this person is registered, so, and I am also in Karnataka, that person is also in Karnataka. So whatever his place, that becomes the place of supply, which in this case will be Karnataka. But let's say if this person is not registered, in that case, wherever he has handed over me the goods, which means in his warehouse, that will become the place of supply. Now, other question comes in about the registration of the GTA. So we understood about the levy of tax. We said it could be under forward charge, it could be under reverse charge. Just think, if this person has opted, the GTA has opted for the reverse charge, and he is doing only that services, in that particular case, whether this person will be liable for registration or not. So here it says a person who is engaged in making only supply of taxable goods and services on which reverse charge applies is exempted from obtaining registration under GST. Here we have to actually look into the definition. It talks about supplies of taxable goods and services. It means it's not talking about the exempted good. So if this person is doing only the supplies of the taxable goods and services, which means GTA is doing the supply of taxable goods and services, and on which the reverse charge is applicable. So this, which means the person, the GTA, let's say his services, whatever he's providing is taxable. Just for we'll understand this in detail. Just for now, just think this is actually taxable, and all of this is actually paid by the other party, which is recipient, at the rate of 5%. So in this case, the GTA will not be liable to get registered under GST, irrespective whether his turnover was more than 20 lakh rupees or not. And Also he whether, but yeah, here one important point over here is, so it is, so in this particular case this person has to get so in this particular case this person is not required to get registered under GST. So here if we just look into situations, here in this following cases this person will not be required to register. One is he has a turnover more than 20 lakh rupees, but he is exclusively in the business of transporting goods, and the total tax is required to be paid by the recipient under the reverse charge. So if he has satisfied these three conditions, then he is not even liable to pay the taxes under the GST. We'll understand this with the help of an example. Think of a case where the think of the case where the GTA is providing the services in relation to transportation of goods of to the registered dealer or any of the specified lists which we have covered, like factory, society, and all that, and he's supplying the services worth rupees 9 lakh rupees, and the GST is also paid by this registered dealer, and he's also transporting the goods to the URD, which is unregistered dealer, amounting to rupees 3 lakh. So now if we just look into the total turnover, it is 12 lakh. Since his total turnover anyhow is below the exemption limit, so there is no question of registration at all. Second case is he is transporting the goods to the registered dealer worth rupees 19 lakh rupees, and he is transporting the goods to the unregistered dealer worth 3 lakh rupees. So here his turnover becomes 22 lakhs. Now here, since his turnover is more than 20 lakh and he is also supplying to the unregistered dealer, so in this particular case, he will be liable to get registered under GST. Third case is, let's say he's transporting the goods to a registered dealer worth rupees 25 lakh rupees, and to unregistered he's not even supplying. So in this particular case, if we just look into it, though it is above the threshold limit, but since he's just supplying to the registered dealer and which is covered under the reverse charge, so he will not be even liable to get registered under this case. Now there is a question of registration by the GTA for the e-way bill purpose. So for that, because he also have to generate the e-way bill, sometime if the supplier is not generating, or maybe in the case where the supplier is generating, he has to also update the details, the transporter detail in it. So this person, every transporter has to get registered, even if he is unregistered. So if he is unregistered, then also he has to get registered for the purpose of e-way bill using his PAN number. And in case he is registered in different state, then he can also just offer one particular registration under the e-way bill and can use the same registration for every state. So that facility is already provided. And if we talk about the record keeping, so these are the total documents which needs to be kept by the GTA, which is the records to be maintained by the carrier of goods. It says any person having custody of the goods in the capacity of the or a clearing and forwarding agent for delivery or dispatch to a recipient. Here, the person shall maintain the true and correct record and shall produce the details thereof as and when required by the proper officer. So he should know what are the consignment he is loading in his truck and then delivering to the other party. So this is again, he should have the item wise detail, the owner wise detail of whatever he is transporting. So if we talk about certain e-way bill provisions, so it says like the government can, in fact, in most of the state they have already done this. So they have asked a transporter to obtain a unique radio frequency identification number, which has to, so this device needs to be embedded in their conveyance so that government can actually track, and there could be a faster, you can say faster moving of the vehicle, especially in the tolls. So that all is already there in place. So that is especially in relation to the e-way bill. And wherever the part is already generated by the supplier, then this person has to actually generate the part B where he will be updating the vehicle details. So that all needs to be done by the GTA. And in case GTA gets registered and he wants to pay the taxes under the forward charge, in that case he has to file the normal return, which needs to be filed by a normal regular person, which is GSTR 1 and GSTR 3B. So this is all about the GTA. We have understood what is GTA, what is the consignment note, what are the services which are liable to tax. He can also offer the forward charge and the reverse charge. So this was all about our today's session. In case you have any query, you can always drop us a mail, or you can also call us at the below number. And hope you like the video. And hope you like the video. Thank you very much.